This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning guys. It's a beautiful morning here at Tswalu Kalahari. Our plans for this morning is to go and follow up on the meerkat group, the Mukalas. So that would be interesting. We haven't seen them in a while. We've seen them, but we haven't spent proper quality time with them in a while. By the way, guys, my name is MAURITZ. Behind the camera, we've got BK. And so we also just drove past Tilo, our snake researcher, or our cobra researcher. And so with that being the case, I asked, so yeah, guys, welcome to our live safari in the African wild. So, alrighty guys, yeah, like I said, my name is MAURITZ. Behind the camera we've got Mr. BK, and like I said, we're going to head to the meerkats this morning, and we also just drove past our snake researcher Tilo, and he's busy following up on a Cape Cobra so far. So with that being the case, I asked him to let us know if he does relocate so that we can respond and come and spend some time with a beautiful Cape Cobra. Obviously we won't go too close to it. I'm not a big fan of being too close to those kinds of snakes, but to see them is always special. And it was sighted last night in a sociable weaver's nest. So with that being the case, we are going to be very lucky if we do find it, because we'll see some great interaction with the birds as well. But yeah, like I said, heading to the meerkats this morning. The Mukala group is just absolutely stunning at the moment. You know, with the small guys, and then the previous generation, the previous set of pups. They are just very curious about everything. And then we've got the adults as well. So 3 generations of meerkats in one group, and you can literally see the different sizes, and that's always special to be able to see how the different ages react to different things and to one another, and how they operate and how different their stages of development are. So yeah, not too far away now. We're gonna probably get to the burrow where they were in the next maybe 3-4 minutes. So then we'll go and set up there, see them waking up and do all of those things. I think it might still be a little early, so we can actually go and swing past the dam quickly just to see what's going on there. We're very close to that dam that, if you guys recall, when we had that male cheetah that was looking for his brother. So that's where, close to the meerkats, that's relatively close to the meerkat burrow as well. So with that being the case, we'll probably just go and swing past there and then give these guys a chance to wake up quickly before we go there. Otherwise we're going to stand there by the burrow waiting for them to come out. So yeah, guys, it's going to be awesome. I'm also very excited to be spending some time with the meerkats again. So we're actually literally driving past the burrow now, where they should be, well, where they went down last night. I'm not seeing anything yet, so we're going to quickly go and have a scan there by the waterhole, see if we can pick up on any maybe cheetah, or if we're lucky, a leopard, or maybe a spotted hyena or a brown hyena coming through before they go to bed. Just quickly have a look. Beautiful, beautiful morning. The wind has quieted down quite significantly, which is great. The windy conditions for the animals are generally not the best. There's some beautiful springbok here though, male and a female. Oops, the one was not expecting company this early in the morning. But yeah, have a look at that. So the one closest to us is the male. You can see the horns are quite a bit thicker than the one at the back. So one male, one female, and they've been hanging around this area as of late quite a bit. So with that being the case, it's quite interesting that, you know, they seem to be doing very well, even though there's a lot of cheetah activity in this area. You know, with them being only two together, they've got a lot less eyes and ears looking out for danger. However, as you can see where they are at the moment, it's not in an area where there's long grass and, you know, where their vision is obscured. So they possibly are able to spot danger coming from far away. Also, it's a good area for them to be grazing in at the moment. There's quite a bit of these creepers and little shrubs and so on, which will be very high in nutrition for them and also very tasty. So, very good spot for them to be hanging around. You can see their condition is very good. But yeah, just absolutely stunning. When they turn around, I'll show you something which is quite cool. You are absolutely right. It is a beautiful, beautiful morning in Tswalu. I totally agree with you. I love always having, I know, well, you guys are going to get tired of me saying this, but always, when there's clouds in the sky, it's just stunning to have the sunrise or the sunrise happening. But yeah, guys, have a look there on the bum of the male at the moment. You'll see there's this little white triangle above the tail. Just underneath, or in that triangle, there's a little pouch, which we call a marsupium. And so with the springbok, when they do what we call pronking, when they jump up into the air with all four legs stiff and their back arched and all of those things, he's very interested in the female, they actually open up that pouch, and then there's a big ball of white fluff, white fur, opening up almost to their shoulder blades. Typically they don't want to expose that all the time, just because, you know, it's like a big red flag being put up out here in the middle of the bush telling you all the predators, here I am. So when they're just busy feeding, they try and hide it. That's why they've got that marsupium, to not have it out all the time. But as soon as they start pronking, they erect that, and you'll find that that pouch then opens up and displays this beautiful big ball of white fluff almost over the entire back, and that's just to be a bit more visual at that time. It will also act as a follow me sign to a certain extent, but it's more just to look pretty, and to also for predators. You know, when they start pronking like that, it's to show the predators how strong and healthy they are. You know, it's almost a case of showing the cheetah, look at how strong and how fast and how fit I am. Don't go for me, go for my weaker friend next to me, which is unfortunately a horrible way of looking at it, but it is absolutely the truth. You can see that female is also not too relaxed, constantly looking out for danger. She's been looking in that direction for now quite some time and paying quite a bit of attention. So there might be something like a jackal, or it could be something as simple as a blue wildebeest coming through, but she just sees the movement through the brush and is not quite sure. You can see there's a little bit of a stomp of the front foot. That also typically shows you a little bit of discomfort. The tail is still wagging though, which indicates that she's still, there you go, still concentrating on the flies to a certain extent. As soon as, they are very concerned about whatever's going on in front of them or wherever they're looking, you'll find that tail stopping and becoming dead still, because then the flies are not important anymore. Then they need to worry about whatever they're seeing. You can see every now and again it goes quiet again. But yeah, beautiful, that marsupium. Always interesting to see them. MAURITZ, so the main difference between springbok and impala is the one is more of a bushy type of environment animal. So the impalas, that's why the females don't have horns, only the males. And the other one is more of a plains antelope, so the springbok. That's why both male and female have horns. But when you look at them as well, you'll find that the impala has a dark back on top with a lighter marking in the middle and then the white belly. With the springbok, it's just the dark stripe is in the middle instead of on top. So they've got that yellowish brown coloration on top, then the very brown stripe in the middle, and then the white belly at the bottom. Also, you'll find that springbok are more adapted to arid conditions, so more Kalahari type of antelope. And then the impalas are typically more, they'll prefer being in more tropical areas, where there's thick brush, where they can mix feed on both lots of acacias, but also things like, shrubs and also grasses. So places like the Sabi sands, ideal for impalas, and the Kalahari is more ideal for springbok. Also with the springbok, they are slightly smaller than the impalas, just because they live in a more arid environment. So with that being the case, the smaller the animal, the less food they require, even though their metabolism will most likely be a little bit faster. So relative to their body size, they'll eat more, but it will still not be more than, if you had to compare the two in weight, what they take in per day, it will not necessarily be more. Then also when it comes to the displays with the impalas, they do what we call stotting. So almost similar to the springbok pronking when they are endangered or when they try and show off for the ladies. However, with a springbok, they don't keep all four legs stiff and jump straight up into the air with a arched back. They actually seesaw. So they'll start seesawing while they're running, touching both hind legs on the ground and then both front legs. And they can do that quite effectively, quite high as well. Whereas the springbok, when they start pronking, they run and jump with all four legs at the same time, keeping it stiff, arching their backs, head down, and then the other main thing is that marsupium, that pouch that they've got on their bum. And the impalas don't have that at all.
Our lives are dictated by alarm clocks, traffic jams, constant multitasking, and countless distractions. The wilderness is where many of us feel the most human. On a bushwalk, we become part of the natural landscape. As you step off the vehicle, everything comes alive. As with any risky experience, Walking amongst these animals inspires awe and appreciation. Now, it's your turn to go on a bushwalk. Join us from Pride Lands as we slow down our thoughts, put aside our distractions, and reconnect with a place that first taught us how to be human.
We get asked quite regularly what are the differences between African and Asian elephants. We caught up with Haresh, who's from Leopard Trails, which is based in Sri Lanka.
Of course, size and weight is the first thing you notice. The African elephant is much bigger than the Asian elephant. Tusks in the Asian elephant, it's a very small percentage of male elephants only who have tusks. I was told that there's a theory that the African elephant's ear is in the shape of Africa. The Asian elephant has a much smaller ear. The elephant represents the bush and the jungle in Sri Lanka in a quintessential manner, and I think it's very important that we do whatever we can to protect them.
My name is Steve, and one of my favorite things at WildEarth is getting questions from you. The type of questions that I really like are those ones that really help us to unpack and understand and really integrate the ecological knowledge and fully appreciate the importance that animals such as these Cape buffalo bring to the ecosystem. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, you're going to have to register on the website, but once registered, just head on over to the live safari page and enter your question under the live feed.
Good morning, everyone, to a very spectacular morning in Djuma Private Game Reserve. We have Ntima's little one going on a bit of an adventure. I really wish she wouldn't. But anyway, good morning. My name is Lauren. I do have Davi on camera, and it's a pleasure to have you here on our vehicle. Now, Braveheart is here, and we've literally just arrived. I don't see any adults, I'm afraid. I'm just going to give it a second or two to scan around. We saw Shimbulu, but I don't see adults. There could be an adult somewhere, but unfortunately, the grass is just so long. So this will be the briefest of visual. Oh, look at Braveheart. And this is den number 1, everyone. I'll just clarify every single time we go to a den. They seem to just be very mobile between the two. Okay, Ravi, with a heavy heart, let us leave. The sun is burning up all of that mist. When we first came out this morning, it was so misty, water suspended everywhere. But we must bumble. I don't quite know where Ntima's one going to. Where did she go, or he go? It's looking more and more like a he, although not confirmed at this stage. Okay, we will check the other den just because it's en route to where we want to go anyway. It's not easy keeping up with the Djuma clan these days. Den number 1 to den number 3. Den number 1 to den number 3. Everybody's moving constantly, I think. I just want to make sure I'm not missing any adults. Okay, let us go to den number 3. Quick check. There may be some activity there.
we're live. Alrighty guys, so we just had a look at the waterhole. There doesn't seem to be anything over there at the moment. So we'll go back towards the meerkats. The sun is not popping out behind the mountain yet, but okay, let's do this quickly. Have a look at that beautiful bird there. That's called a crimson-breasted shrike. There's another one sitting on the road there in front. I want him to turn towards us now, just to be able to see it a little bit better. There, the one on the road is probably better. There he goes, Elsinore now. Stunning, stunning bird. Beautiful, bright red chest and belly area, and then that white on the wing. Quite a striking bird. There's actually quite a few of them chilling on the road at the moment. I think they're all either gulping up the armored ground crickets or just all the insects that's still on the road from during the night or so. The insects get attracted to the road quite often during the night, just because of the road being slightly warmer. So with that being the case, you'll find early morning all the birds operating. The two that flew towards us now is white-browed sparrow weavers. They're just busy sorting out their nest by the looks of it. Let's see if we can go a little closer and see that bird activity. I think there's quite a bit of, it looks like sociable weavers there in front as well. Either that or wattled starlings. We'll get a better size reference now when we get closer. But yeah, with the crimson-breasted shrikes, guys, quite a prominent bird out here in the Kalahari. You do get a different color morph of them as well. It's wattled starlings. Where the red chest is actually a bright yellow. And you can just see all of the starlings and the shrikes now on the road. Definitely busy grabbing maybe. So I see there's quite a bit of, looks like termite or ant activity there on the raisin bush on the left-hand side, or underneath the raisin bush on the left-hand side. So with that being the case, most likely there's quite a bit of ants also running around on the road, or termites for that matter. I think it's gonna rather be ants. But yeah, like I said, with the waterhole, we haven't really picked up on anything interesting there. There's a couple of hyena tracks that came in throughout the night, but no cheetah or leopard or so sitting there waiting for us. So we're going to head towards the meerkats. They might still be a little while before they come out, just because the sun hasn't popped out through the mountain yet. But we'll see now when we get there. Sometimes they surprise you and you get lucky with them coming out early. A couple of ant-eating chats also flying around here on the road. Morgan, you're absolutely right. It is. We do have some stunning bird life, and quite a bit different. You know, there's certain species of bird that's the same than what you'd find in the Lowveld, but because of the Kalahari being so much different as far as the climate is concerned, we get quite a bit of birds that either only occur here or that we don't really see in places like the Lowveld. You'll find that up towards Namibia and the lower parts of Botswana, you know, the proper Kalahari regions, or the semi-desert regions, but not really in more tropical areas. Things like the sociable weavers and those types of birds only really operate in areas where there's 250 to 300 mils or less rainfall per year, just because of the fact that they make those large nests in the trees. So as soon as the rainfall gets too high, you actually have the nest becoming too heavy over those large showers and then breaking the branches. They say that one nest can weigh up to, if it's a big nest, can weigh up to 1,000 kilograms, so a ton in dry weight material, with the birds now inside as well. So you can imagine, as soon as it starts pouring down heavily, that nest doubles or triples in weight very, very quickly. It acts like a sponge. So yeah, quite special bird life. A lot of the francolins and the chats and all of those things, that's also very special to Tswalu. We actually have guests coming here specifically only to tick off maybe 1 or 2 or 3 birds off their list. But yeah, guys, we're here by the meerkats now. We're going to go and have a look if they haven't come out, set up the camera over there, so we're going to be off the vehicle for a little bit. For the meantime, we're going to send you over to Andrew to say hello.
Everybody, welcome to Djuma Private Game Reserve this morning. So we're looking at the impala feeding around here, and this is actually an area where a karosh was moving into one of the thickets, so we're checking the boundary, see if there's anything. My name is Andrew this morning, and then I have Mpo on camera, so we're going to be checking the boundary if our beautiful young leopard has already crossed back to Djuma or hasn't yet. For now, spending time with impala here just to see how they react, or if they have been threatened for the last couple of hours or not. If there is something that threatened them for the last few hours that they're around here, they would be maybe looking around, but they're so quick to forget if they see something danger. When they move out of that, in the next 3 hours they chill again, so they're very quick to forget. So we're just checking. And also the other guys, they are following on a big track male leopard that has moved into Djuma from the north. They're not sure which one. So checking this part, if we fail, then we know we got something to check around in Djuma. Hopefully that track stick around, or if he doesn't, or he's not already moved out of this Djuma already. Nigel asking what bird that's calling on the background. Let me just take a look first. It looks like one of the supporter. Can't tell. Yeah, but it's a lock bird. L-A-R-K. Just can't see it. Maybe it's probably one of those. A lock. But there's quite a lot of starling that is calling on the background as well. Drongo that is calling that. Lorna, so you're saying that this bird call is so peaceful, and we had actually a lot of misty around here, so now it's kind of like the sun's coming through, now all warming up, so, and this is how birds communication is about, and they're all just to get to know where the other is. So that's why they bring all of this call from all over. Indeed, it is a beautiful call then. This impala, they're not in a very cool spot there for us to see. Indeed it is, but it's very covered. Which for now, they might stick around in that area, but they will move into open area. That's just because they are mixed feeder, which means when they need such a plant, they need to move into wood land. And then, of course, when they have to get out in the woodland, out of that, they would actually eat grasses and all the herbs, small plants on the ground. They're so peaceful animals. So, back of their legs, as impalas, they have it's called metatarsal. It's sort of like a gland just before the hoof, above the hoof. And when you look at them all, they have this black tooth at the back. So these present the scent wherever they move, especially when they have to find one another. They will find one another by this smell that is left on the ground. But it sometimes, it can be easily be, followed by cats who knows exactly what their smell is like. Because that smell, it's an oil. And then that's what it's all about. And then just gonna slightly roll forward a bit. I'm not sure. Lucy, you're asking if the impala vocalize. Yeah, they have a few sound. Some of the sounds are warning calls, and they would blow their nostrils, but very loud when they do that. But then, of course, these males, they can, when you hear them from distance, they do vocal, like deeply sound, and that sound like maybe it's one of the cats out there fighting, or when you don't know if it's you don't know your animals called really well. So yeah, they do make a call. They do vocal, especially males. And then the female also, they do make sound which you would think of warthog in the wood when they communicate, when they have babies. And then they're actually one of the successful species out here. They're a seasonal breeder, but also since they are mixed feeder, which means wherever have buffalo gone through, feed, and other species such as the zebras, the wildebeest, and they may want to go for the last. So which means they don't really mind grasses which has been eaten in there like 3-4 hours ago, and then they're still going to feed on that. Safari Kitty, so you're asking, do all the antelope vocalize in a similar session? So they all have a different sort of vocalize. Some that don't even vocalize at all, where kudu they would bark. Nyalas also will bark. Bush bark also will bark. And then waterbuck, they blow ears or nostrils, similar to impala does, but then you would hear it from distances, which is even more louder than impala can do. So they are all different, not all the same. But all the animals that they communicate using sound, and the whole in general, all animals, they would have sound. And there's only a few sounds which each one of those sounds would mean something among that species due to communication, what it means. And such as an impala's early in the morning, or when they're excited sometimes with the weather, and they do kind of like, they sort of like jump up and then do exactly like what the springbok do, but it's not really completely pronging. It's similar, but it's different. So when they do that, and it's all about happiness. And sometimes they can do it when they see a predator. They want to impress that they maybe can run faster, or they saw it in time, then there's no chance for that predator to hunt them. So there's a way of running around. So I'm going to carry on, search around in this area, see if I find anything else.
Just look at that. It is absolutely incredible. And as far as I can see, that all falls within the reserve. So it is a vast landscape, but we are gifted with these incredible things, you know, the wildcats, the aardvark, you name it. It just keeps on delivering. It's just such an incredible privilege to be out here.
And when you think it could not get better, Mother Nature says, hold on tight.
Oh my word, that is gorgeous. We are cooking on gas this afternoon.
Have a look at what we've got. Look at how this is the best day of my gutting career so far.
there's your aardvark. And for those of you who've never seen one, this is one of the big safari specials on any reserve.
I'm just holding my cap because otherwise it's going to blow away, and with this storm coming towards us.
Absolutely beautiful to be able to see water flowing in this volume in the Kalahari. Oh, look at that. You can see the structural component of these flowers. It is perfect. Such a treat to be in and amongst these incredible insects. How lucky are we? You can see how close they are to the vehicle. Very curious. Oh, you can do it! There we go. We made it over. Whew. But look at that view. That's absolutely stunning.
You can see how they're going into stalking mode. Okay, there we go. This one female is going to walk straight past the car now. Absolutely stunning. Look at that. I mean, do we just not have the best jobs in the world? That was epic. Alrighty guys, so as you can see, almost all of the individuals out at the moment. Quite a bit of grooming and playing and a little bit of burrow maintenance happening with the macalas at the moment. Every now and again, there we go. There's a bit of clearing of some of the burrows. But yeah, aren't they just the cutest things? You can see the little ones in front. There's one over here as well. And then, well, there's some of the adults and the sub-adults as well. But yeah, now with our mornings being a little bit cooler than usual for this time of the year, we find them spending quite a bit of time around the burrow system early in the morning, you know, just baking, warming up and getting ready for the day to come. And then as soon as they start moving with the abundance of food, they can spend a bit more time in the morning. So as soon as they get moving, there's quite a lot of food around for them to then start operating around and feeding, filling those bellies. Life has been relatively easy for them just because their territory is ideally situated, you know, with all the armored ground crickets and not having too long grass and all of those things. These guys are playing a little bit. But yeah, so a relatively easy life. I mean, there's still the threat of snakes and all of those things around. But with this being an ideal location, they've really been doing well. And they're up to as high as, I think, 12 individuals now. And these pups are doing good. So most likely they are going to go up to adulthood as well. But yeah, quite important for the meerkats to, I don't know, you'll see over here, this group over here, quite a bit of allo grooming happening with them. And it's very, very important for that to be the case, guys, to have each other, to help each other, to clean one another. Because with the meerkats, you know, with them being so low to the ground, they do get exposed to things like ticks and so on quite a lot. So as soon as you find a meerkat that's maybe been chased out of a group also that has to spend some time by itself, you quite often find that there's quite a lot of ticks around the face and eye area, which they can't take off themselves. So very important for the meerkats to have one another, not only to help each other to clean, you know, their faces or their bodies from ectoparasites, but also to help to look out for danger like this one and like that one is doing, so that the little ones can play and, you know, the entire group can feed or forage with relative ease. You know, the rest of their bodies, coming back to the grooming side, the rest of their bodies they can clean relatively easily themselves, but the the face and neck area is going to be quite difficult. You can see how all of them, our helicopter is flying behind BK now, so all of them are just having a look at this big bird flying around. They need to be very... Lorna, you're absolutely right. There's always something happening with the meerkats. It's amazing to have them and to just spend some time with them. And you know, when you really start following them and spend every day with them, it's so interesting. I mean, we get to spend maybe a couple of hours with them before they start moving off. But like Veronica, our meerkat habituator, she spends almost every second of every day with them, and I think she can write a book about what she's seen with them by now. Super entertaining. I just love when they hug each other like those two are doing over there. And now there's playing involved as well, but often early in the morning, especially with the little ones, you'll find them hugging each other like that, just holding on because they're still so sleepy. They actually struggle to keep their balance, so having a mate to just keep them up is always good. This one is now actually grabbed the armored ground cricket. He's busy eating that. Shame. Can't be good. Oops, and there's a bit of fighting about there we go. But yeah, guys, we're gonna spend some time with them, see if they possibly want to start foraging, or if the babies want to start playing in even more. You know, as they heat up, there's going to be more activity starting to happen. As soon as that happens, we'll come back here. But for the meantime, we're going to send you over to Lauren, okay?
Happy World Butterfly Day, everyone. It's always important to celebrate those that are maybe not as well recognized as other species. So we have the most gorgeous view of the African monarch, which is different from the monarch species you find in the US. Can also be called the African queen, and I can see why. Davi's given us the most wonderful visuals. You can see all the legs, and look at those antennae, club-like at the end, which is a feature of a butterfly, and definitely not a moth. Now, the African monarch was thought, whether this is 100% correct, to be one of the first butterflies ever documented. So it's very, very iconic out here, and it's very prevalent out here. It's really, really common. And we can actually see it right now because it'll be furled on top of its head. Or maybe you can, no, you can't. But somewhere you can see the eye. So if you just look underneath those two antennae, you can see a black circular thing with what looks like dots. That's actually the butterfly's eye, believe it or not. And on top of the head, the proboscis, which is equivalent to a tongue, I guess, a straw-like tongue that they use to feed. And they normally keep it tightly coiled on top of their head. And then, of course, when they're ready to feed, when they find some nectar, they're going to unfurl it. It will extend downwards and it will straighten in order to act like a straw. And it's actually controlled by a muscle, a very special muscle that's on the head called the basal galeal muscle. And this is the one that allows the proboscis to coil and then uncoil. So when it's coiled on top of the head, it's essentially locked so that it doesn't flap about or disturb the organism when it's flying. That would be slightly annoying. And that's why it's kept locked by muscular contraction on top of the head. They can't damage their proboscis. If they damage that, they can't feed. And that will be ultimately death. So it's the stipes muscles that are actually the muscles that allow it to straighten and go downwards. It's got to be very straight, remember, in order to sort of suck up the nectar can't be slightly wavy or slightly coiled. And of course, butterflies are so fundamental to our ecosystem. They pollinate. And of course, pollination is one of the most key processes for the environment. It's not just butterflies that pollinate, but they are one of the most common pollinators out here. And it's not quite warm enough for this individual to be flying in. I promise you he's real. And you can see it looks like he only has 4 legs. It's not. He will have 6, or she will have 6. But the 2 closest to the head are not often used for standing. So the front 2, the 4 legs, will be sort of pulled up against the body, and that's why you can't see them. But there will definitely be 6 legs. They just don't use all 6 to stand. So we found our first butterfly species of the morning, and in honour of butterflies, we will try to find some more. But for now, let's send you back down to Tswalu.
So yeah, guys, as you can imagine, waking up early in the morning, coming out of a hole, it can be quite daunting. So as you can imagine, the first couple of minutes or even up to an hour of the meerkats being out of the burrow, they spend quite a lot of time doing what they're doing right now. And that's just to look around, make sure that there's no African wildcats or snakes or raptors or, well, honey badgers or whatever, jackals, all of those things that can eat them around. So with that being the case, very important for them to not only, whilst they scan, also, while there's, how many is there now, 4 or 5, busy looking out for danger, the others then spend some time cleaning the burrows while the pups are waking up and heating up a little bit as well. And then as soon as the coast is clear, then they can start moving around and foraging and, look to get some nutrition into their system. You can see some of the little ones, the previous pups, are already starting to dig a little bit to try and get to maybe a scorpion or a little beetle or things like that. But most of the adults are spending quite a bit of time looking around and then cleaning the burrows. You can't always see them when they clean the burrow, you just see the dust coming out. Yeah, the alpha female in this group is not always too comfortable with being as close as the rest of them to us. Fergal, so this is the Mukala group. Mukala meaning camel thorn or camel. So this is one of our newest additions to the, habituated groups of meerkats. What happened was there was actually some of the KHOZA group that split off and joined this particular group. And, with there being some of the individuals being relaxed with us on foot, we decided to start habituating the rest of the group. And they're actually now at that point where this is by far our most relaxed group in Tswalu. The KHOZAs are also doing really good as far as being relaxed is concerned. The rock stars also, we've spent most of our time with the rock stars, so you know how they are. But these guys are just the best, with them having so many babies at the moment, whether it be the newest pups or the previous pups. This guy is kicking me full of dust. There's quite a lot of curiosity going around, so they'll very easily walk up to you and start doing their thing. Not necessarily touching you, but we'll always try and shy away from that, but getting very, very close. I want to say up to as far as where my hand is right now. And just looking at you, and some of the pups will sometimes scream at you to give them an insect because they feel like you're part of the group already. So yeah, very, very cool to have a group that's so social with us. And to be able to spend time with these animals and see how they operate, without them worrying about us, as they would be in their natural environment if we weren't there. That's what's the most special about having these groups of meerkats. Seeing how they react to snakes and where they choose to situate their burrows and which burrows they use during which parts of the year and all of those things. Purely because of climate change and, temperature change and all of those things is always incredible. There's so much research that can be done on these guys. Paul, so with the meerkats, they've got a couple of different alarm calls for different animals. Just like vervet monkeys, you'll find them having different calls for different things. So for raptors, they'll have a certain pitched call. We typically say they bark when they alarm call, because it is a very short, very distinctive call. But so with things like raptors, they'll have one type of call. With things like snakes, they'll have another call. With things like jackals and African wildcats, there will be another call, purely because of the fact that they need to react in different ways. So it's a short but very distinctive bark, and the pitch of the bark will differ as well as the intensity, the repetition as well. Sometimes you'll find them doing it quickly, 2 times in quick succession. Other times it's only one quick bark. Other times it's a more of a squeal almost. And that all just means different things to them, whether they need to get into a burrow quickly because there's a jackal coming, or whether they need to just duck into, underneath a thick bush because there's a raptor coming. Or if it's something like a snake, then that's something that they either need to very quickly run away from and get some distance in between and get to cover then. But for them, just dropping down into a burrow when there's a snake approaching is going to be, not so valuable, because that snake can just follow them into the burrow. So yeah, different frequencies or different vocalizations for different types of danger, but it's generally that short bark which they use to indicate danger, whether it depending on the frequency and the intensity and the repetition and those types of things. It will be for different things, different animals. Even if they see another group of meerkats, there's going to be a different call, because then it's not necessarily danger, but it is going to be a warning signal, because with them being territorial, they'll actively defend their territories against other groups of meerkats. So when there's let's say the KHOZAs move into this area, you'll find them vocalizing as soon as they spot them, and then it's going to be full out war. This group is much stronger and larger than the KHOZAs at the moment, so with that being the case, they are going to very definitely want to fight. And also, like I said earlier, this is a prime territory for them to not want to lose. There's a couple of determining factors, when it comes to deciding whether they want to fight or not, because, with them having the small pups, there's always a high risk. Jerome, not that we've picked up the calls, because they're so relaxed. I mean, you saw them now walking behind my back here. They're probably 30-40 centimeters away from me, so they don't have a call for us anymore. They'll have a sort of a warning sound. Let's say they come out of a burrow and they weren't expecting you. They'll have a bit of a warning signal to indicate that they aren't too happy. Everyone very interested in what the radio is doing here on my backside. No, they won't have different calls for different people. There's so many different individuals that they see, when we've got guests with us to the meerkats. I mean, then you've got a group of 5 or so different people all with them at the same time. So to have a different call for each and every human, no, they won't have that. It will also just be, if they're not comfortable with what we are doing, also just be a warning call as far as, you know, something that they need to react to. Now you can see these babies are now nice and woken up. So getting a lot more active and playful. Even the teenagers, like this one that's walking with his tail up over here. That's the previous litter, so they're now very much alive and looking to start playing and possibly foraging. You know, the babies are generally the ones that are the hungriest in the morning. So you'll find them, especially the teenagers, because they're growing a mile a minute at the moment, you'll find them starting to push the adults. Even though the adults are not ready yet to start foraging, they want to make sure that everything is still safe. You'll find them pushing the adults to start foraging and slowly start moving a bit further and a bit further away from the burrow system until the adults get the message. But it's absolutely up to the alpha female to decide when they really start foraging. So you'll find the little ones moving away, and then when they see the adults are not coming towards them, they'll come back again. Heather, so as far as I know, they are about 12 individuals. So 4 small pups, then we've got the 3 sub-adults, and then 5 adults. But you know, sometimes you find that with groups of meerkats, you'll find the young boys starting to explore their options if they're not the alpha or one of the higher ranking individuals in the group. So what will happen then is you'll find them occasionally leaving the group, joining another group and coming back if they're not happy with that group. So occasionally you'll find this group being only 11 or only 10 or so. And then other times you'll find them being up to full numbers again. So yeah, as far as I know, we can do a quick count too. Yeah, I'm seeing 12 at the moment, so I think all of them are here. But yeah, these teenagers are just in a lovely mood. I see it is actually 4 teenagers and 4 adults then. So 4 and 4 and 4. Yeah, so typically you'll find the litters being anything between 3 and 5. However, they can be up to as high as I've heard of a litter of 8 once. That's highly unlikely though. I want to say the ideal high number for meerkats to have as a litter is about 6, just because of the fact that the mom also only has 6 teats from which they can suckle. So as soon as there's more than that, she's going to really have to work overtime to be able to produce enough milk for all of them to be able to drink, you know, and be full by the end of the day. But yeah, like I said, I've heard of litters going up to as high as 8, but that is super unlikely. There's a little bit of bullying going on over here. They are just the best. And yeah, guys, I don't know if you can see, but I'm pretty sure you can. When they start moving a little bit faster, or even when they're walking, as far as their aggression levels is concerned, you'll always see the tail push up, having that black tip on the tail. You know, that's their follow me sign, but also their way of showing aggression. You know, with hyenas, they do the same thing. As soon as a hyena shows signs of aggressive behavior, you'll see the tail being pulled up, and that's just a clear indication to everyone that, and off they go, that the mood has now changed. Yeah, it looks like they're gonna move a considerable distance now. It was so cool to have them now. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna try and follow them too much. It looks like they're gonna be quite active and moving maybe to a different spot, and then they'll start foraging. So yeah, guys, I think we're gonna head back to the vehicle and possibly check in with Tilo to see if he's got that snake yet. If not, we'll start looking for maybe a cheetah or something else. So yeah.
WildEarth explorer Jenny recently joined Tristan as he broadcast live from Djuma.
Awesome to kind of have a guest on board. I'm looking forward to this. This is Jenny.
Hi everyone.
And Jenny is the first of our Ticket to Dream holders.
If you want to go on safari with a WildEarth guide whilst honing your bush knowledge and of course featuring in one of our shows, then head over to our website.
Literally being with Tristan on the vehicle today has been incredible. It has truly been a dream come true.
Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer and you could be making your first ever on-screen appearance.
I would highly recommend being a part of the Explorer program and being able to be a part of an interactive live drive.
Our bodies are made up of about 60% water, which means that in a very short space of time, you can dehydrate completely. A relatively efficient way of collecting water early in the morning is to take an absorbent material like a sock and to walk through the grass, absorbing the condensed dewdrops on the grass. Once the material is saturated, you can then squeeze it out into a container, or you can suck it out directly into your mouth.
Hi everyone, my name's Daniel Fisher and I'm going to be your guide this afternoon. I'm looking really forward to taking you through and showing you all the beautiful places here at andBeyond in Ngala. If you have any questions, please register on our website. Once registered, go to the live page feed and post your questions underneath the live feed. Join me on my next safari through andBeyond in Ngala on WildEarth. Send me live questions through the WildEarth website and I'll answer them live from the African bush.
Something very, very interesting. I didn't plan this, but this is a scene rarely seen. This is what we call a journey of giraffe. So beautiful.
Tune into WildEarth every single day. It's in your nature.
We have just spotted a little spider. Well, I have. Up here, Dove. That thing with 8 legs. I'm joking. Let me get a little bit closer. I don't actually know what species this is, but it's of course suspended in mid-air from its web. Now, some spiders actually create webs on the daily. Every single day they will create a new web, and of course they're diurnal because they need the sun, they're solar powered. And can you imagine making your own web every single day, taking it down again and starting again? Now what they do, let me see if I can see, I think this one is making his web or rebuilding it. So with your sort of front 4 legs, you're clinging on. And with the back 4, you're assisting in pulling out that silk that's made from various different amino acids in your body, coming from different glands called spinnerets that sit on the lower section of your abdomen. They've got a different body design from insects. Okay, for now we're going to send you across to Andrew.
Cool, everybody. So we got a greater blue-eared starling here, feasting on Lantana, the frog, looks like it. It's already killed it. Or where they find it dead, I'm sure. And there's quite a lot of the other starling calling from there. The background. They were probably gonna want to come to feed on that same frog. So frog, would it be moving around at night pretty much? And that lantana, they're always permanently in water. And that's why I'm saying it's probably find it dead, killed by somebody else. And these starling don't hunt in the middle of the night, they would be sleeping. I was trying to take piece by piece because I agree with you, everybody. This is very interesting to see these starling feeding on the frogs, which is unusual, but it does happen. They can feed sometimes on the meat. Lange, so you're asking what else do starling eat? They pretty much eat ripe fruit, berries, pretty much berries out here. Well, this time of year it's quite a lot of ripe mejikwari bush. So they're all ripe to blackish, sort of like grapes, but they're fairly small compared to their grapes. Would it take long? Seems to be quite a big for it to swallow. Probably gonna try and tumble it around. greater blue-eared starling, we have them all year round. Winter, this time of year, summers. So they don't migrate. Or was it giving up? And didn't take it with them. It's lying on the ground. It's been very tough for that bird to be able to cut in pieces, so another bird will come in there maybe later. It doesn't picked up by a bird of prey or hawks around here. So I'm checking around here. That male tracks, the guys have lost it, and then nobody looking around in that area. So I'm gonna go take a look around where they have lost that track and see if we can find that male leopard. I'm not sure which one could be. Maybe we got a Tingana came into the property. We'll find out. It's been a long night, so a lot of cats. We had the coolest night. Temperature was great. And they have done a lot of movement in and out of these places. In Kara, the guys are looking around. The last update is that they're still looking there where we last saw her, moving west. And they haven't found her. So I'm gonna drive a few roads here, see if I come across more of a track over the leopard. I'm gonna be sending you across to Ron to see hello to everybody.
Morning everyone, and welcome to andBeyond and Ngala. My name is Rowan, and behind the camera I've got OD. We just got out. We've been struggling with a bit of power outages, so therefore no signal. But here we are. We are currently driving on a road called Trevor's Hole. It runs parallel to the Timbavachi on the southern or now western side. It bends with the Timbavachi. I think from here what we'll do is actually go back into the river and head further west. Since the last time they saw Ngala female was on this road. Actually not even on the road. It was on the western part in very thick grass. And then from there, I think you saw her with Nick. She went up into an apple leaf. So we just scanning around to see if we can find any tracks or any sign of the Ngala female. Been a long time since I've seen her. I haven't seen her since I've been back this cycle, which is 3 weeks now. Otherwise, beautiful day. It looks like it's going to get very hot. Actually, a little bit hotter than yesterday. So that should be fun this afternoon. I just got off the radio with Fred. He said he checked the entire eastern boundary, north of the river, to see if there are any trucks of the Birmingham Pride. They've not crossed into Ngala on that side. But this afternoon, Odie and I will head south to check the eastern boundary again, see if they maybe crossed in on the southern side. This morning, we don't really have a clear plan. I think we'll just head along the river and see whatever we can find. Hopefully some elephants, maybe the lioness and her 3 cubs if they're still around in the same spot. Maybe a leopard, who knows? Remains a surprise. but really a very, very, very nice morning, especially here where the sun is just breaking through the trees until we get to the Timavati River, and we'll be driving in direct sunlight. Luckily, it will be behind us because we're heading west in the river and the sun is still in the eastern parts. So yeah, we are now turning left, like I said, going west. And while we search for anything, really, we'll send you back to Lauren on Djuma.
Another insect for the morning, which happens to be my favourite. I think we have a red-veined dropwing. If I'm correct, it's definitely the male. Normally in dragonflies, the males and females look very, very different, so it's easy to tell straight away. Don't necessarily have to sort of go searching for genitalia, which you can see, believe it or not. If you look at the very, very tip of his abdomen, you can see a pair of claspers. And claspers are the male genitalia for dragonflies. Quite common in the animal kingdom. Sharks have claspers, manta rays have claspers, but you can just see his claspers. So if you didn't know that was the male because he's red, then you will know when you look at the back of his body. And you also get the violet dropwing. I would love to see that one. But the red in itself is, of course, extremely striking. And you can see how his wings literally drop down and his abdomen almost goes vertical up behind him. The bulk of his head is also taken up by those compound eyes. They're not simple eyes, they're compound eyes, made up of thousands and thousands of highly sensitive pixel-like units. You can only imagine how he sees the world. What's his view like when he's flying? How does he perceive everything that's going on around him? I would really love to know that. I'd love to spend a day as a different animal. Every day I'm a different species, and I get to understand what it's like to be them. Wouldn't that be amazing? And we had a monarch earlier, and of course, the US monarchs have the reputation for one of the longest migrations, but there's a study by Dr. Charles Anderson, a very lovely man who resides in Maldives, that suggests dragonflies could actually make one of the longest insect migrations. In Asia, they actually sort of take advantage of the moving weather systems. The weather systems are very different over there, with different monsoons than what we experience here in Africa. And dragonflies complete an absolutely epic migration from southern India all the way across Maldives to South Africa. And for a tiny little insect, that's really, really impressive. And they estimate that the round trip is about 18,000 kilometers, including most of that is ocean. So there's nowhere to land, there's nowhere to rest. But they make use of the wind. So they're obviously flying, but they're very much propelled by the wind. And on the way, they will stop to breed in temporary water pools. But Maldives doesn't have any freshwater pools. They really struggle for fresh water. They're an island nation in the middle of the ocean. So sometimes you can actually set up little water pools to give the dragonflies a break on their migration and allow them to breed. But of course, it's not just one individual that makes that entire migration. They do say it takes 4 generations to make the full round trip. So it won't be the same individual that completes it. It'll be 4 different generations to make the entire migration. Isn't he just beautiful? Snazzy, I've not heard your name in a while. Hello there. You're asking, is it common for them to lose wings? That's a really good question that I have never thought of before. I don't know, to be honest. I've never seen a dragonfly with a missing wing. And because they're such expert flyers, they really are aerial predators. They, of course, have 4 wings, as in the number 4. They have 2 forewings, as in the other kind of 4, and 2 hind wings. But what's unique about dragonflies is they have a lot of special muscles in their thorax that allow them to move independently. This is not common for insects. So therefore, if they lost 1 wing, I'm going to guess that they wouldn't really be able to survive. They wouldn't be able to hunt as accurately as they do. That's a good question, and the answer is, I don't know, but I don't think so. I don't think they could survive with missing wings. They're able to hover, they're able to move backwards, forward, do somersaults in the air, and I don't think they would be able to do that with a missing wing. Okay, we're going to continue bumbling, looking for anything that we can find, and we're going to send you guys across to Ngala.
So, not unsuspectingly, this lioness and the 3 youngsters are still in the riverbed, actually not too far from where we left them the other night. But what a nice time to catch up with them, because all 3 babies are very active, very playful. See, the one's not actually drinking. I think that's the young male. Next to him is the paler sister. And of course, she'll get jealous. He's drinking, he's doing something interesting, so she wants to do exactly the same. Sibling rivalry. But then also keeping an eye on us. The curiosity. Mom is in the background eating grass. I think she is now trying to get rid of just the last little bit of whatever she ate. And maybe tonight or the next night it'll be time to go hunt again. And then the one sister's just watching Mom. I think trying to figure out exactly what she's doing. Now the male is going back towards the mother. Looks like he might want to stalk her. Just the way he's putting his head down, or he might just lie down on this side. Or just play with the sister. Very bouncy when they run. It's awesome. See the little pale lioness there behind the mother. She's quite curiously just watching her mom and trying to do exactly the same. Also tasting the grass. Don't think she'll like the taste. Like a dog, it will make their stomach work. Can you imagine eventually they'll maybe try run up to Mom and try tackle her. But at this age, they'll just bounce off. Way too light to do any damage. Oh, so she hasn't moved far at all. This is actually exactly where we found her the other night. It was, what, 2 nights ago? So they've just been relaxing here in the river. And of course, she doesn't really need to move. I mean, if she finds a safe place where the youngsters can hide, she's full, she doesn't need to eat. It's like a comfortable Airbnb. This little male, he's the one in between the 2 females. He's indecisive. He keeps looking towards the one female, then he looks towards his mom. And I think he's trying to figure out which one should I stalk and which one should I play with. See those little naughty eyes? Okay, he's decided on Mom. Now the other little female is up. Actually, both of them. So now this one's stalking the male, and the male is stalking the mom. There we go. Lisa, I agree with you. They are very cute. Actually, lion cubs are my favorite to watch. They're bouncy, they're furry, and they just have so much energy. And they get curious. Their mom is up. Now they'll probably have to follow her instead of play. They're always curious. Even us driving up, you could see the youngsters actually come towards the middle of the riverbed to see what all the commotion was about. These were leopard cubs, going for the tail. Poor mom. These were leopard cubs. They would actually go further into a thicket and try and hide. So that's a steep gradient to go uphill. I'm impressed. It'd be awesome if they came tumbling down. Nina asking, why do the grass make them vomit? Nina, I think it's got to do with tannins. It's also, these are carnivores. Their entire diet actually consists of meat. So I think eating vegetation just does not really agree with their digestive system. And so it's exactly like a pet dog that eats grass. Whenever they have an upset stomach, they'll eat grass and it makes them vomit. So same thing with lions. See lions do it, we see leopards do it, we see wild dogs do it. What's a big lick? Shame. She actually just wants to be groomed. Oh no, now she's biting mom. A little paw on the face, right in mom's eye. So I mean how bouncy they are. But they're getting better and better at running. So just the other day, about a week ago, you'd watch them run and they get to the tire track and they'll actually trip over just a tiny bit of sand. Lovely to watch them playing, actually, to see lions with a bit of energy during the day. Of course, they wouldn't go too far up that bank, too far out of mom's sight. That's a little paler female, a little lioness that's left in the river with the mom. I think because her siblings haven't come down yet, she might go investigate. Ooh, he sat right on her head. It's like they just come, they show off and then they go back. See what I mean about them start tripping over their feet? So that little female just did exactly that. She face planted a little bit before the other two tackled her. Gorgeous mom though. Very, very powerful lioness. This is her third litter. So her previous litter, they are the two sub-adults that's actually with the rest of the pride that we showed last night. And the litter before that, they all died from mange a couple of years, or not a couple of years ago, but 5 years ago, 4 years ago now. 4 years and 7 months. So those youngsters would have been exactly the same age as the young male and the young female that has the two older cubs. Okay, I guess time to move on. That one's still wrestling with a branch there. Megan, it's a tough question to answer if all cubs all survive to adulthood. I think out of lions, only about 30% of them make it. But you know, they're already at this age. I was just going to mention it. She must be quite happy they're already at the age where she doesn't have to pick them up and carry them anymore. So I'm voting for them. I think all three of these would survive. Unless if there's a pride takeover, you know, if there are other males coming in now and they happen to push off the Rouse males, that would be bad news. That would be very, very bad news. But the amount of time this lioness is spending with the youngsters, I don't think we need to worry about leopards or hyenas, unless it's a very big clan. My biggest worry would be other males coming into Ngala. Saying that though, I've never seen the Ross males look this good. She's gonna vomit. I think the grass is kicking in. I feel sorry for her. That's the worst feeling in the world. It's her own fault though. She made her do this. You can see the one youngster just lying there. She doesn't know. Whoopsie. That's a good one. The one youngster doesn't know exactly what the mom's doing. So let's say if she covers it, can you imagine they're going to spend the entire day here? Or maybe another night. If she doesn't cover it, I think she'll move on. Because even that leaves quite a stench for other predators to smell, especially things like hyenas. I told you how curious hyenas get. Oh, not done yet. She's calling. Bit of a soft moan there. Bad guy Cade. The male lions don't spend too much time. You won't see them babysitting. Not really. Although we've had it with the one Ross male lying outside the den, and we think, well, we're not too sure whether the female was inside or whether she's gone out hunting with the rest of the pride. So I wouldn't really say they babysit or they look after the youngsters. Often what they do is they are off on territorial patrol, so they are making sure no other male lions come into the area. It's mostly the mom's job. Although there are cases where, you know, some of the males are... Well, I want to see if they stalk this blacksmith lapwing. Where they're quite tender with the youngsters. We haven't found that with the Ross males. They don't share too many tender moments. Oh, this is quite funny. You just see the blacksmith lapwing running away from the lions, coming closer towards us. I think they might settle. Yeah, they've given up. They have to cross the river to get to this bird. It's a beautiful reflection of the lion's paws. No, just the tail. So, Cade, yeah, they don't really play a fatherly role. You know, they don't feed them, and we haven't really noticed them babysitting. Especially not the Ross males. It's almost like they don't like their own kids. But just what a beautiful view. In the majestic Timavati riverbed, 3 young lion cubs just watching a blacksmith lapwing. And then mom on the side just watching them. So that's the little pale lioness just trying to stare over her shoulder at what the bird's doing. Nearly flipped over there. Michelle asking when will they be introduced to the pride. Michelle, they've already been introduced to the pride, so that the members of the pride we saw last night, that is this lioness's sister, then the young female with the 2 older cubs, and then the 2 sub-adult females, which is this lioness's previous youngsters. They already know these babies. And the first time we saw this lioness shift her den, she actually walked through the entire Birmingham Pride, including all the white males, the Ross males, all the other males. So yes, they know they've already been introduced to the Pride. And this happened 3 weeks after birth, 2 weeks after birth. Oh, the bird has made a mistake. It's now come on to the other side of the river, attracting the little lions. See, the thing is, I don't think this lioness wants to hang out with the rest of the pride, especially with her youngsters so small. They would have no chance of getting into a carcass at all. So rather, I mean, they are mostly still on milk. They're only, 11 weeks old now? Nearly 3 months. So they'll be moving more and more towards carcasses. You can now hear the blacksmith lapwing. It's flown off. But if they were with the rest of the pride, there would just be no chance for them to eat. They are too small, and we've seen it happen where young cubs were eating from a carcass and a male lion actually swatted at one of the cubs and broke its back leg, and that cub didn't survive. So I think they know exactly what they're doing. Three very busy little bodies. The one female is now stalking the other one in the tire track. So it's quite tough to run in the sand there. It looks like the sand is rather soft. So the one in front is the little male. The one behind him in the same shot, that's the pale female, and the other female is now stalking from the right, making her way towards the little male. There we go. Like I said the other day, the size difference already is immense. Leopards, Mal, they could drink up to 6 months. Depends on how long the mother actually produces milk. So usually 6 to 7 months. Those other older cubs, Mal, what they would actually do, and I think this is why the lioness and that other lioness get so angry with him. I mean, they are 11 months old, but they remember how good the milk was. So what they could do is, when they're feeding, is actually try drink from her or allow suckle, which is one thing she does not want to allow because she only has milk for these youngsters. Which is why at 3 months old they start eating carcasses, whereas by the age of 6 months they want them completely weaned. So it's going to be interesting to see if the other youngsters, the ones we haven't seen yet, the baby cubs, when they come out, it could happen that this lioness and her sister actually allow suckle. But then again, there's nearly a 6 week, no, more than that, 7 week, 8 week age gap. I just hope there's a male with the other bunch, because then this little male wouldn't have to be on his own, and when he does end up leaving, maybe 3.5 years from now, he'll take basically a cousin with him and form a coalition. Very possible that they actually move off with the older cub of the young lioness, the one that's 11 months old. So then potentially a coalition of 3 if there is a male in the other litter. That one looks like it's smiling. It's actually practicing a phlegm grimace. So it smells something in the sand and it's pushing it into an organ of Jacobson, and that's why it pulls back its lips like that, exposing the teeth. So just to the left of us, there's an impala alarm calling. So that caught Mom's attention, because there's no chance that the impala is alarm calling at us. But it's only alarm calling every now and then, so either it could smell the lions, or it's seeing grass move and there might be a leopard in the area. Okay, so we're going to sit here for a while. Whatever is there, maybe it moves down into the river. That should be interesting to see. But while we sit here and wait, see what happens, we're going to send you to Taylor on Pridelands.
Well, we've been walking around all morning long to finally get to Ndlovu Dam, where of course the elephants are back at it and swimming, which is really, really wonderful to see. My name is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me today is Niels. He's never been at Pridelands before, so it's very exciting for him. And like I said, we're obviously here at Pridelands Conservancy, which is part of Baluli Game Reserve and the Greater Kruger Park. But this is really, really awesome to be standing not too far away. Now, as I'm sure you've heard, Pridelands has received an exceptional amount of water. I can't even speak today. And just when we thought the dams were subsiding, we received quite a bit of rain just a few days ago, and it has topped it up quite nicely. So these are all elephant bulls that are swimming here. We walked into a lot of them yesterday. So I think what I am going to do is I'm actually just going to sit very quietly for a minute or so, just so you can enjoy the sounds of the bush. That was a big splash. You can see they really are enjoying themselves. It's one of my favorite things, and I'm sure a lot of you also enjoy watching all of the elephants swim around, all the different birds, and there's even some crickets and other insects making all sorts of noises. Now, I'm sure it looked like I was probably standing in the middle of Ndlovu Dam, but don't worry, Niels and I are safely away from the water's edge. We're just standing up on a little bit of a high point. But it is creating a bit of an optical illusion, because remember, even though we haven't seen any crocodiles here at Ndlovu Dam, it's very important never to get close to the water's edge, as crocodiles are expert ambush hunters, and with all the water around at the moment, they could have moved in from anywhere. And we have seen it in the past on WildEarth, where we've actually found crocodiles quite far away from water and just out in a drainage line, and so they like to travel sometimes. So we've always got to be very careful about that. Never be too complacent around the water's edge. But isn't this just lovely? Now, it's not very hot today. We've had some sort of very sweltering hot days in the past, but the temperatures seem to drop quite a bit. I think the elephants are enjoying that. But it's been a long time since I've been able to catch them frolicking about in the water. They don't seem to be too much than doing the usual of pushing and shoving one another around, and also annoying the hippopotamus that has moved into Ndlovu Dam, although we can't see him for the moment. He's just tucked away under a bush, trying to keep away from these rather large animals that are causing much drama. Wasn't very impressed. So that's another thing we've got to keep an eye out for, is the hippopotamus will probably come walking through the tents at some point.
I'm absolutely delighted to have won the February prize draw for 3 nights for 6 people at the Djuma Private Game Reserve. I absolutely love everything WildEarth has to offer. I find the guides extremely knowledgeable and will go above and beyond to ensure a great safari experience. I will be taking my husband and family from the UK to experience this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. One of the main reasons I joined the WildEarth Explorer program was for the fireside chats, and also to win an incredible prize, which I am so fortunate to win and incredibly happy. I would like to thank WildEarth for this amazing prize and cannot wait to meet the team.
It's a huge privilege to be in these incredible places with these amazing animals. I love filming lions. When they do get up and do something, it's always spectacular. When they are playing, are incredibly fun to watch, especially adults and cubs. I love being in the bush and working in these incredible places with these amazing animals. We want to bring it to you so that you can almost feel like you're right there and be able to experience it and enjoy it the way we are.
Hello, I'm Marna, your WildEarth Safari Guide from andBeyond Ngala. What I really like about connecting with WildEarth viewers is that we get to speak to viewers instantly, and I get to show you this beautiful property. If you want to ask me a question, register on the WildEarth website. Simply head over to the live safari page and you can submit your questions there. Join me or one of the other guides twice a day on WildEarth.
This is a battle of two great carnivores of the African wilderness. Whew. Whoa! You don't want to be under those jaws. Definitely, this round goes to the lion. Look at that. Fantastic.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth.
So we've moved the vehicle slightly. The sand is still wet where we are parked, so I'm actually quite scared we sink. We can't get out of here. It'd be dismal to have to push. Actually, we probably wouldn't push. We'll just stay here for the afternoon drive. But us moving has caused the little male. Oh, you can hear him calling. Cute little sound. He's followed the old tire track to where we are. Oh, just settling. The alarm calling has stopped, but you can see the mom. Actually, no, she looks quite relaxed now. But she was watching the southern bank quite intently. So much energy, these three. Although this will only last for about half an hour and then back to bed. Like any baby, they wake up, they feed, they have a bit of energy because of the milk, and then it runs out. There's a plane flying over, and I don't think they're quite used to the sound, so all of them look quite disconcerted. See, they're watching in the direction of the plane. This young lioness, she is running to the bank. See, that's their approach to safety. That's the safety they know is whenever mom tells them, or there's something that could be potentially dangerous, they'll go into thick vegetation. So well taught. Especially for them, that must be such a loud sound. Monique, way more. No, they are completely white, a white line. At this age, it will look like the color of toilet paper or bone. They are completely white. So they would have a bit of pigmentation on the back of their ears, the tip of the tail, and of course the paws. And then the eyes would have a color as well. So the white lines that come onto andBeyond Ngala every now and then these days actually have blue eyes, so they do still have a bit of pigmentation, but they'll be completely white. So this is just, it's just paler. But it's also, I mean, between the Ross males, you can see the one male is darker than the other. So it could be that the lioness, the little lioness, the paler one, actually belongs to the blonder Ross male. And the other two are the cubs of the other Ross male. They're now going into thick grass. So scrambling uphill. You just see the grass moving every now and then. I'm sure they'll come out soon. Whoop. one actually fell over. Luckily the grass was there to catch it. It's at this age where they start exploring a lot, especially when mom moves them to new little places. You know, it's scents that they don't often come across. So they just want to see what's around. And she's not worried at all. She's not even looking back to see where they are. She should be able to place them just by hearing. Like I said the other day, the riverbed is perfect for a lioness with younger cubs because she knows exactly what's going on in front of her. She can see 180 degrees, and then if anything had to come down or be behind her, it would make so much noise, she'll pick it up before it's even close to the edge of the river. Oh, there's not even grass moving anymore. Trying to hear if we can hear them playing, but not even that. We are quite far away from them, so luckily for the zoom lens, I'd say we're probably about 40, nearly 50 meters away from the mother. If they venture too far, then she'll call them. She'll give that soft moaning sound, and they'll know to come back. We've been so lucky in terms of our lion viewing, having 2 lionesses denning in the river. With the amount of rain we had, no off-roading, if we didn't have lions denning, we probably would not be seeing too much. Though I must say, lions don't really like the wet grass at all. So often, when you do drive around after rain, it could be you find them in a sodic site where there's no vegetation, or in the riverbed. Don't worry, everyone. No need to be nervous about the cubs disappearing. Like I said earlier, it's their safety. So them going into thick vegetation like that, it is safe for them. And I can tell you they do this day in, day out. You can see she's now looking back. No need to be nervous at all. Just because we can't see them doesn't mean they're not there. Soft call. Sure, we'll see them coming back now. Funny, she's looking up the tree. I don't think they're there, Mom. If they don't come back, she'll get up and she'll actually move up the bank where she last heard them. I can hear the grass. You can definitely hear rustling, and it sounds like they're coming back down. I can hear them playing as well. So they're still around just behind her. Can't see any movement, but they're definitely there. I mean, they're naughty in the sense that they have a lot of energy and they'll go bite Mom's tail and try bite her. But when she calls like that, they'll definitely come back to her. Not to worry Mom out too much. Yeah, you can see the movement in the grass just underneath the tree. I think just wait a little while. It's gonna pop out in the riverbed now. There's 1, 2. and the third one will shortly follow. There we go, just putting Mom at ease, saying don't worry, we're still here. The third one's coming now. See, all it takes is that soft, low groan, that soft little call from Mom, and they all respond. There's a third one coming on, the last little female. So, there we go, they're all safe. For now, I think we'll still sit here. You know, what a lovely place to sit. We are in the shade. But we'll send you over to Lauren and see what she's up to.
Sometimes it's nice to just stop, admire the view, the blue skies, the long grass. Oh wait, do you see something, Darby?
I do.
You do? So do I. It looks like rosettes. Oh my goodness, it is rosettes. What could this be? What animal could this be, everyone? I'm gonna guess leopard. Ravi? Could be. I'm only teasing everyone. This is something I haven't seen in a while. And this is why. So Davi gave you a beautiful, stunning wide shot there. This is what we're dealing with. I saw some interesting questions. Why are the guides not finding leopards? Well, this is why. Now, this is Cara, everyone. We're up on Buffelshoek at the very eastern end of Hunters Road, which, for those of you who are not too familiar with the property, it's very close to Buffelshoek Cut Line. Cara's spending a lot of time here, and I'm very grateful that she's left the Manguletti area and she's spending more time on Buffelshoek. She's not quite ready to be territorial yet. She's young. She's Hukamuri and Chidulu's daughter, so his legacy lives on. But she's finding her feet, or finding her paws. And I think, I'm not a leopard, obviously, but I do think there could be room for her in Buffelshoek, and that's so joyous because we can traverse Buffelshoek now, and really, there's quite a lack of females up here. I mean, Klalamba pushes in a little bit. Luna's around, but we rarely see her. And Sele seems to be spending more time on the eastern side of Buffelshoek. So I personally feel there could be space for this girl. And that's wonderful news. But yes, she's not yet ready to be territorial. So of course she's pancake flat. And she's taking all the shade available. But that's okay, Cara, you can have the shade. Davi and I will survive. She's such a stunning leopard. You can immediately tell, I feel, who her parents are. And she was originally named the Hukadulu. Whoever came up with that, honestly, I'd love to give you a bar of chocolate. Not a lot of people love that name, but I think now that Hukamuri is passed, or has passed, it's a lovely name, Hukadulu. Cara the Hukadulu. But she's small and still very young looking. Leopard lover, you obviously love the leopards, and this has made your day. I'm so happy. It's been a struggle for leopards on Djuma. Everybody's struggling right now, and it's a number of factors, but mostly, of course, the vegetation. And I personally feel just due to the lack of tracks, there's not many leopards moving in Djuma right now. Tlalamba's there, but if she really is denning, then of course you're not going to see her regularly. And as for males, I mean, MAURITZ is the most dominant male around here. We just never see him. So that's not good for us, but it means he's doing a good job of being a leopard. But seeing Klangula yesterday on Buffelshoek Cut Line moving west was actually fascinating. Maybe he's starting to push down a little bit, which is great news, because I would really love to spend more time with him. He's ridiculously handsome. So things are shifting as they always will. They always do. And now with Cara in the mix here, totally separating herself from Mom, that's really good news. So with leopards, the mother normally gives a section of her territory to the daughter, making space for her, not for males but for females. Why? Because it's better to have your relative close by than a stranger. It's better that your neighbour is your bloodline rather than someone not related to you at all. So I think Kara's territory is going to develop on sort of the western side of Buvusuc, the western side of Djuma, and maybe the very short eastern section of Simbambili. Wouldn't that be lovely? It's definitely not the best visuals I've ever seen of Kara. But she does keep putting her head up every now and again. And we will also try to reposition. Luna. We have a leopard. Yes, they're solitary animals. If you ever see leopards hunting together, please do let me know. That would be something to see. You will only really see leopards together when it's mother and offspring. Even your complete interact sense sort of.
It's getting to that stage now where, look at that youngster's face, actually listen to it as well. You see they're inching forward, trying to get to let them drink. So she'll probably get up soon because there's a low growl coming from her. And she doesn't want them to drink, it's going to hurt her. I hope you guys can hear that. That is the cutest sound in the world. Begging mom to flip over. See how she puts her paw in front of her teeth. Go. No more for you guys. She's not going to walk far. She'll lie down again and they'll do exactly the same thing. The one is right on top of the mother. I think almost trying to flip her over just by using the weight. But notice they try act cute. So they'll rub up against mom, often go to her chin, rub up just below her chin, and then go for the teat and start begging. I mean, they don't look hungry. They actually look quite well fed, so I think this is more greed. And like any mother, I mean, she'll be able to feel when there's enough milk to feed them again. I think she'll wait a while. See the tip of her tail, it's moving slightly every now and then. This could be trying to get the attention of the other youngster. She looks like she's looking straight at mom's tail. Although there are so many other sounds now in the river with all the birds calling. They're just curiously looking at anything that moves. Very busy orange-breasted bushrack calling right behind them. This mother looks super relaxed. Very, very, very content. Compared to the other night when her belly was so full and she didn't know where to lie down. See, here we go again. Always one that begs more. Yeah, the other one's, like I said, it's trying to pull her over. But she's not having any of it. You can hear that low growl. The lip pulling up. Yeah, she's not having it. There we go, up and moving again. Well, I think we're going to watch this for a while. But for now, send you back over to Prrivate and Taylor.
So we've got a different view on Ndlovu Dam. We're actually standing up on the dam wall, which is an awesome spot because the banks are very, very steep. A number of times you've actually seen the elephants climb up the steep banks to try and slide down them. Now, if you look just below us here, you can see it's virtually impossible for anything to be able to climb back up here. And with all the water that we've had, a lot of the soil has now washed away and created, unfortunately, further erosion. Now you can see the elephants have all got their trunks up, so they can definitely smell us because the wind is circling at the moment, and I'm sure they can hear my voice, but I'm not particularly worried here. We have got plenty of routes that we can walk away. We can go back down off the dam wall and into the drainage line, or we can actually just walk all the way across and get to safety. But this is a really, really nice spot. But remember, these elephants are often in and around camp, so they're constantly interacting with humans. Not that by any means are they tame, but they're definitely used to us. And elephant bulls are a lot more tolerant than breeding herds typically are. So we probably encountered a few of these individuals yesterday. The only animals that aren't very impressed, you might not be able to see them now, but there is a family of Egyptian geese swimming about too, just trying to find a nice place to stay without getting trampled by these elephants. It's very difficult for the Egyptian geese to raise goslings successfully, as this is a very, very active dam. But perhaps now that it is flooded so much, there's a few more spots that they can sort of find nice little safe areas to nestle into. But we're going to move off from these elephants now, and hopefully we'll see them this afternoon, or if we go back across to the Sabi sand.
So we also have a small herd of elephants on the road. Looks like they love being there because also there's a little bit of waters on the side of that road, so they are busy starting to actually play with that mud. I also have one of the young one in there. So it's a breeding herd of elephant. And it's probably the mother on the road. Well, this time of year where it's wet, they don't have to struggle so much wanting to drink, and there's always water. So I'm going to try to position because it looks like we are surrounded here by this animal. There's more to the back. So yeah, we've got more of them here. There's all so one of a young male within this group. dark, so they've probably been swimming maybe yesterday, maybe middle of the night. They also can do that when they want to. It's all about cooling off. We know the sun is actually picking up much of heat. They will probably wanting to swim if there is a near watering hole around here, where that will be a Gari Dam. Feeding on one of the bush. It's called sickle bush. One of the greater wood for furniture as well. A sickle bush. Not everywhere you find these trees. We're going to keep up with them since they are trying to move away from us, but we got a gap to follow them still, see how they're leading us.
It's the month of March and WildEarth is offering you the chance to win a brand new prize. Sign up to be a WildEarth Explorer and you could win a 5-day eco-training ranger experience for 2. Eco-training is the pioneer and leader in safari guide and wildlife training in Africa. The lucky winners can look forward to approaching dangerous game on foot, tracking and 4x4 driving, learning about animal behavior, and even spending one night sleeping out under a blanket of stars. In addition, you will also get the exclusive opportunity to join the WildEarth team on the broadcasting vehicle. Sign up to be an explorer now, and it could be you that wins this life-changing experience. Terms and conditions apply.
I got into wildlife filmmaking because of a passion for nature and a notion that I could make a difference. Helping others fall in love with nature brings meaning to what I do. It's also a lot of fun. A couple of times per week we receive some very heartfelt messages from viewers telling us about how WildEarth has made a difference in their life, whether it's helped them through a difficult period or simply helped them to reconnect with nature. I think that's why we do what we do.
Hi, my name is Tristan Dix and I am a guide here at Djuma Private Game Reserve for WildEarth. We love connecting you to the African bush and we always look forward to all of your questions. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, you'll need to register on the website. Once registered, go to our live safari page and submit a question below the live feed. Catch up with me on WildEarth.
Looks like it's a very difficult climb because every time it tries to climb, the ground is breaking, so it slides down. But it's the only one. Look at that. That is the call of desperation with a cub. It's like, what are you doing, mommy? Oops. Oof.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Now just complete relaxation. They've actually stopped bothering the mom. So she, just like a normal house cat, put her head on her paws and she's snoozing. And if we go further left, the other youngster is doing exactly the same thing, completely passed out. Looks super comfortable. She just looks very happy as well, very content. The other two still slight bit awake. I think give it some time and they'll fall asleep too. The little paler lioness cuddling the other one. It's special to see the bond between lions. I think if you spend this much time together when you're young, of course, these are going to be your best friends. There has to be trust in a pride as well. Though I must say, all those cute cuddly bits cut out whenever they're on a carcass, and they are just swiping, clawing and biting at each other to get a piece of meat. Of course, this will only happen later. For now, there are the cute little cats you see in front of you. An adorable little family. So like I said earlier, we caught them at a good time when they still had energy, they still wanted to play. Now, because mamas refuse their milk, I think just to pass the time till it's time to drink, they'll sleep. When you're bored, when you're waiting for something to happen, might as well catch a snooze, why not? Replenish the energy. So they've been walking up and down the river, just judging by the tracks around here. They've spent the last 3 days in this area. They've been going up and down. It's also like we saw this morning, every time they try to drink, mom will walk off a short distance. They follow and then go back to where she was a little bit later. So we'll sit here, we'll watch them sleep for a little while longer. For now, send you to Andrew on Djuma.
So we still have our elephants, but looks like now we got all 3 young bulls, which when we started we saw all of the females with their babies. These young bulls, they're still following the herd from the far end, which I believe this age, when they're anything from 14, 16 years, this is the time their mother would turn around for them, not wanting them in a herd anymore. So more likely to be pushed off from that age. Even though that is hard for them to understand why, that's why it will take a long time for them to forget about their mother until they understand. From time being, they would be following their mother from far end. So bull elephant males, they don't always has to be with the females. There is a system where males would gather around as a bunch of male or single bull, 2 male, but there is a bachelor group. And then from time to time, the male that are all common masked, those are the one who would always participate on going into females, move out if there's no female that she's ready to mate. everybody, I agree with you. Elephants, you can spend a lot of time with them and be evidently enjoying them. They're so cool to watch. Got a lot of things to do though. I even compared them with the dwarf mongoose and all those monkeys, baboon. Even they're far too big. But they at least do something always. So I'm gonna stick with this elephants. Hopefully the whole group come to this open area. I'm gonna be sending you across to Lauren.
Our clever girl is a clever cookie. Hopefully she's going to sit at the very top of this termite mound and relax for all of us. Now, I wouldn't describe Cara as skittish, but she's not completely relaxed. She's a young female after all. She'll get stronger, but I think, just not overloading Cara. We've stayed a little bit further away is the best way to approach her. Of course, she's not with Mom anymore. She's on her own, and although we've had many encounters together with her and Mom, she really is pushed away now. So it's up to herself to navigate around here. Oh, Cara, you were posing so perfectly on this mound. Shall we attempt to go a little bit further forward, Davi? Yeah. Okay, we're just going to attempt very, very slowly to go around this mound here. Okay, I really hope once we round this corner we're going to get a better visual of her, but for now, over to Andrew.
Good luck, Lauren, with Cara. So we're still here, and then I haven't actually moved, because I'm all about the hope that the whole herd will come out to that brush, to the open area here. They're very quiet though. Only time they make noises, this is when these young males got close to their mothers, and mothers growl to them, just to warn them that they must stay away, learn to be isolated. So I'm gonna reposition here, and then I'm sending you across to Lauren with her Cara again.
I'm very much hoping that since she decided against this delicious termite mound, she's going to go up this delightful marula tree. It is really so wonderful to spend time with Cara. Cara's litter mate was lost and killed by a female leopardess called Moya. And again, this just shows you that all sort of predators, even intraspecifically, will kill one another's offspring. So Cara did have a brother, I believe, who was killed by another female leopardess. Would you look at that tail? On you go, my dear. This marula is waiting for you. that is not Hukumuri's double, I don't know what is. Kara's really easy to recognize from those eyes. I mean, those eyes are Hukumuri's eyes, but also in her right ear, she's got a bit of a notch missing out of it. For a young age, that's going to make her really, really easy to identify. Now, for female leopards to become territorial, it's a process. It's going to take her time. It's going to take her time to sort of establish her territory, then set it up, then obviously become territorial so that everybody else around knows. Anna Marie, I agree, it's so good to see her. I think she's going to become a real prominent and dominant leopardess around here in time. And hopefully we can start to watch her a lot more often, just like we have Miss Kalamba. In primiparity amongst females, let's take Kalamba for example, really is influenced by not just physiological factors, not just your physical condition and your estrous cycle, but also social factors. And the social factors are really important in determining where she will establish her territory at the end of the day, and they can mate around, she's there, oh, she got her, around 3 years old, but generally speaking, around 3, which Kara is not 3, she's much younger than that, they're still establishing themselves, they're still establishing territories, they're still sort of going through physiological changes. So it's normally around the age of 4 that you'll find a female leopard has her first litter. She's on the move, which is not ideal for us, but we shall try and keep up with her. She didn't go up the Termite Mound or the Marula tree, but we're going to try our very best to keep up with her, and you guys are going to go across to Andrew and his elephants.
I'm happy for you, Lauren, to have a Kara. You know, we now standing here still with one of the young male elephant. It looks like now we got a little bit of a chance to get close to him. Look how he grabbed grasses. Where tip end of this trunk, they all have sort of like finger projection where they were able to hold on something, anything they need, and then grab into the mouth. So I'm going to move forward. There we are. Well, he's in a shade, though, which is very good. We'll probably spend time there. Notice every time they're in a shade, they do less on flapping their ears. So 50, you're asking what is the safe distance from the elephant, considered safe from this elephant. So the first thing is all about animal behavior. Understand, look at the animals, see how they react before you get close. So you can, with the elephant, which means you can get 15 meters, that is very close. like where we are, probably 18 meters or so, 20 meters distances. That's roughly average. Some can get up close, 4 meter. Some elephants can graze close to the feed towards the car, and all we do is just let them do that. And then we have seen that they feed always close to the car, which can always touch them by your hand. But it's all about what they're doing. They're not freaking out because you're there. But it's always, that is a little tricky one, because then if you don't understand them, it means you need to stay away 100 yards if you don't trust them. Looks like he's just hiding behind the bush. He's listening to most of the others because they seems to disappear into the bush. So we're just gonna wait here, see, probably gonna go around that little bush, come to the road. Many of these elephants, they grow around vehicles. And then, of course, they get used to the noises of the vehicles. And not that they understand what we are most, but they feel comfortable with the vehicles. Only things that you do, you don't have to get out once you're close to them or make a funny noise. You're all just going to be quiet, and then you'll enjoy ever greater sighting. It comes to the road. The whole member there is still in the wood, haven't come out, so you already crossed this road. And then I'm going to see if they will probably come out on the front of us, or they've already done that. There's a small of an open area where he's going. Could be not the whole herd will join him, maybe the other brothers, members will join him there. Got another one behind us, so I'm going to reverse, see if we can take that look at. So, Reg, you're asking how can you tell the age of an elephant? So we can always estimate the age of an elephant, and looking at the size of the animal, look at the tuskers, and that's how you can tell averaging, or you can always estimate. You can't go exactly the age. But now we talk about this bull right here, as you can see. He would be probably all on early 6 years, somewhere there. Old. So it looks like he's a lot younger compared to the one there. So I'll put him roughly either 5 or 6 years. But also their skin, it's got a lot of rankles. So when you look at him there, he's not even showing a lot of a folder. So he's still quite young. But as a young bull, when he got old, age of 35, then you started to see a lot of folders on his skin. But folder of the skin, it's so important for the animal, big animal like this, to have it because they have big body. It's not that they can reach all of the body in terms of scratch. You know, they need to use trees. But what they do, they will spray mud over their body. Then the mud will go all over their body. And then if the skin, for example, it's flat without any of these wrinkles, and then it's easy for this mud to, slipper down to the ground always. But now, not easy. It has to went into these folders. So I'm gonna stay put here. Look at this young guy. We're just sending you across to Ron with this line.
So it's interesting, they won the fight and they convinced the mom to let them drink. The one on top is the male, and he's actually pretty much suffocating the darker little female is lying right on top of her, and every now and then you'll see his ears pull back and he gets quite aggressive. I think it's her trying to move and get to a more comfortable position. But what's more interesting is watching the little pale lioness. She's not as aggressive or even as adventurous as the other two. She got bullied out of her spot where she was drinking. She decided, okay, it's fine, I'll walk past mom, rubbed her chin, and then just went and lay down. Don't worry, she's not going to die because she's not drinking milk. She had a bit of milk, and she'll always have a bit of milk, so she'll be perfectly fine. But it's just the other two are way more aggressive than she is. Even when they go explore, when they walk around, it's either going to be the male or the darker female that walks first, and this one will try to follow. Here we go. Let's see if she gets lucky. You might see mom lift her leg to make more space, to open up more teats for them. That whistling you can hear is a grey hornbill, a beautiful call. The Cape turtle dove now. Doesn't even look like she went in for a teat. There's no space. If she did dig in there and caused a bit of growling or ruckus between the youngsters, you'd see the mom either lift the leg or stand up, depending on how much they're hurting her. It's a whole pile of cubs. Laura, you are absolutely right. Like I said earlier, lion cubs are just the best things to watch. They are super cute. Doesn't matter what they do. They could just be sleeping, could be jumping all over mom, they could be fighting with one another. They are just hilarious and very cute to watch. Like little bouncy fluff balls. Oh, the sun is beating down at the moment. I think Odie and I are catching a tan. So eventually they'll have to move as well. I think probably in the next half an hour or so, the sun will be high, so there'll be no more shade coming off this fig tree. Still drinking. You can see a bit of movement in their head. I mean, often they'll just, drink and fall asleep right there. Let's see. I mean, I think they might just fall asleep. But for now, while we wait for that, we're going to send you back to the elephants and Andrew.
So we still have this single young bull still, where the rest have moved away from here. But good things about that, they use communication, sound, and they will be able to find one another again. And they have quite a few communication sounds. Some we can hear, some maybe we hardly hear it. And this time he's out in this open area. So you would be needing a lot of herbs around here. And that's why they come to the open area. When we look at him, he's not actually too much in grasses. He's in specifically herbs that he pulled out from the ground. Oops. The reason he does that, put the trunk up with this whole plant, it's all about taking all of the dirty. At the same time, it's getting all the flies around his face before we feed on it. Noble Rabbi, so you're asking if the elephants only did stand or sleep standing up. They do lie down. A lot of time they do stand up, but they can lie on the ground. So for that sleep, doesn't take long. Those are still young in a herd, most especially, they can spend as much time as they need on the ground, flat. Those are the oldest, maybe 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and they're up and going again. So it's the same when they take that nap standing up. And they're very difficult for you to know because he freeze or she freeze, that animal freeze. And then all you see is that the legs, because they have to switch legs, 3 of them stand, 1 up, and all the time you would probably change those legs. And that's how you would spend time sleeping standing up. And some that will use this termite mound we see around here as so helpful to these big animals. They lean against them as they go down on their knee, take that sleep, and it's easy for them to stand up again or not to hurt their lungs. So we're gonna keep watching this bull. I'm gonna be sending you across to Lauren.
We left Cara. She was a bit of a busy bee heading into a tricky block. I'm very cautious about off-roading right now. We have to be. It's not wise. It's really not wise. And of course, Cara's a little bit nervy. We came across some elephants on Gallagher Shortcut. It was so lovely to see a leopard, and I can assure you it's nothing to do with the guides or not choosing to see leopards. It's really difficult right now. And with Miss Tlalamba being occupied, we believe it was reported she had suckle marks, but again, pinch of salt, pinch of salt. People don't mean it. It's just very hard when you see a mobile animal from a distance, and that's why quarantine was called in as 3 different males yesterday. It was originally called in as a relaxed MAURITZ, and I thought, that's wrong. That's not MAURITZ. But yes, it does seem like Kalamba could be otherwise occupied. And for those of you who missed it, I'm not sure if it... Well, you should go and check it out. Davi and I managed to spend time with Fang and her herd the other day. Not only did we spend time with them, we actually got to watch the entire herd come all the way down to Chitwa Dam and drink. I can actually get a better view here. This is the road, Davi, isn't it? Or is it? No. It's not. Maybe I can't. So yes, you can check out that sighting of Fang and herd. It was just too wonderful. I wish we could track all the elephant herds, but we don't have the resources here to do that, I'm afraid. But of course, the ones that we know we can keep up with. And Fang returned with a booming herd, I shall say. Lots of offspring. Okay, we're going to bumble a little bit closer to home because, well, my tummy's rumbling. And let's see what we can find along the way.
With a slew of potential dangers lurking, it's essential to be aware of your surroundings whilst walking in the wilderness.
20 yards away from one of the most endangered species. This is a big bull.
What a moment, what a close encounter with an Ellie bull. He's just over here now. He's moved completely away.
Being on a bushwalk and seeing a leopard, I mean, it's ridiculous to be this close to a leopard on foot and for him not to run is absolutely insane. How crazy was that?
Through the gap there is just the back of the head of a male lion. He is absolutely unaware that we are here right now. I tell you, seeing lions on foot, it definitely brings out the caveman in you, this little scared human being.
Well, one track here in front of me, and then one track went right there. I want to follow the track with the cubs. Sorry, I'm gone behind the car. That's very rude of me. I want to follow the track with the cubs. Oh, my word. Oh, my word. Okay, so everybody, we've just bumped into Pride of Lion.
I'm Nikki here at andBeyond Ngala in South Africa. I love getting questions from viewers about all the small things within the environment and how it all is integrated with one another. If you want to ask me any questions, please simply register with the WildEarth website, head across to the Live Safari page and then post your questions there. I'm looking forward to chatting to you on my next WildEarth drive.
Okay, there's another big male coming in from our left here. Another big male, look at this. This is the one. Now you're going to see sparks fly, guys. Guys, it doesn't get better than this, eh? Yes! Unbelievable. Africa, I love you, eh?
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Good timing. So the milk bar has now closed. Mom has decided enough drinking. Of course, their teeth are very sharp, so it does hurt her, especially when they start fighting, because there's not enough milk coming out anymore. They've depleted it, and they'll start fighting or biting harder or pushing the stomach. And yeah, it annoys her. So the one on the bank, you can see the belly drooping, so it's definitely had enough milk. Looks rather full. But I think probably in the next 5 minutes or so, all of these will be asleep. Bit of a sneeze there. It's nice now. There's a breeze picking up, coming from the eastern side. This is going to keep them cool for the day as well. Just funnels through the riverbed. So the river is not flowing anymore. Now we've just got puddles left. It's amazing how quickly it dries up. I must say the water table is very, very high. Even us driving through the sand, it still makes puddles. You can actually hear it in the tires. We go that one exploring again. Definitely not ready for bed. I don't know what she's hearing, but she's seeing the pigeon. Sorry, the dove on the side. It's like a Cape turtle dove that she's watching. Sparked her curiosity. Definitely a Cape turtle dove. Of course, she's not quick enough to catch that at all. But she'll watch it. It's good. It's a good learning curve for her, even to just try stalk it. I was watching them earlier, and the one female just kept her eye on a vulture that was circling. So even at this age, they know exactly what vultures mean or what vultures look like, these scavenger birds. Of course, when they get older, you often see lions run towards vulture activity. So if vultures start dropping, it means there's a carcass there. And lions will investigate the area just to see if there's still something left that they could eat. We did an episode on WildEarth last year sometime that we were actually driving in the riverbed, saw vultures come down, drove in, we saw the vultures eating, and then next moment one of the Birmingham lionesses just rushed in and all the vultures just went boop. So that youngster's now adventuring up that path again. Be interesting to see whether they sleep in the river with mom during the day or they'll go to thicker vegetation again and go sleep somewhere on the bank. The other one looks like it's on its back. They'll be able to hear the rustling in the grass, and so of course that will spark their curiosity. Odette, you are right. They do become mischievous once they had a bit of milk. It gives them energy again, and then they become naughty. Although a very cute kind of naughty. You cannot even see that little line in the grass. All you see is just grass moving. You know exactly where they are, but you can't see the lioness at all. Very, very, very cute. You can see the other cubs. It's tough to see, but they're right next to mom. So every now and then you just see a tip of the ear. But they're watching intently what the lioness... Oh, there we go. Head up. I think they get jealous. If it seems like one's having a better time, then they also want to go there. Exactly like any sibling. See your sister or your brother doing something cool, you also want to try it. Even though you won't have as much fun doing it, maybe, or you might have a better time. Now it seems like they're going to bed. Their bellies are full enough to just fall asleep right now, like the mom did on the other night. This one is out of the grass again, moving towards the mom. And this is exactly where they'll spend the rest of the day. So we'll see you again in the afternoon.